Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on this episode of WiscoCardKid. If you are new to the channel, thanks for streaming, joining us, whatever platform you're listening to. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Matt, WiscoCardKid, WiscoCardKid Dad. If you're new, this channel kind of started just from my son who wanted to stream, opening up boxes and packs and pulling me back into the sports card hobby. And since now he's gotten a little older, he doesn't enjoy it as much. So I just find it a fun hobby to share some of my expertise and what I do and how I do it along on the Wisco Card Kid Show. So thanks for tuning in, joining us. This episode is one of my favorite things I love to do every year. Is we just got back from being up in Door County for a week, and on our way back, we stopped at the Packers training camp. So I'm going to share my experience of Packers training camp. I think this was the 5th or 6th year in a row that we've done it. And sometimes we've gone multiple times throughout the summer, but it's an amazing experience. The kids get excited. I love watching practice and being up close and personal to professional athletes. It's just an amazing experience all around. And I'm going to show some pictures and share our experiences and what I've learned throughout it. So hang out with us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's jump into today's Packer Camp training experience. All right. So once again, thanks for hanging out with us as I share one of my favorite times of the year that I love doing with. Started out with just me and my son Carter, but it turned into a family thing that we all go to. And the girls are kind of social butterflies and they just love the excitement of running around trying to get autographs and stuff like that when they don't even know who the players are. So it's fun for the whole family and everything. But one of my favorite times a year, and I love that we started this family tradition every summer of going to Packers training camp. So how it started was my nephew is a Vikings fan. I know. He became a Vikings fan from when Favre went to the Vikings. And I grew up in Appleton. They still live up in Appleton. And Favre went to the Vikings. Everybody around Green Bay, because it's Live or Die Packers up in that area. It's about a half hour outside of Green Bay, if you don't know, was fuming at Brett Favre and hated Brett Favre, which then sparked him to like the Vikings. And so then come along, he talked my son Carter into being a Vikings fan. So I think it was when my nephew was getting close to high school graduation, he asked if I would have any desire to go to Vikings training camp. This was probably, 5-6 years ago. And I said, I was like, that's fine. I will go to Vikings training camp, but then we all have to go to a Packers training camp. So hence sparked we try to go to Vikings training camp and Packers training camp every summer. And let me just tell you, it is two completely different experiences where the Vikings are all chained off, roped off, locked off. You have no access to any players at all. You're only guaranteed one autograph, and they have a specific position player day where the Packers, any player that's still in their rookie contract, top first 3 years, has to do what's called the Dream Drive, where they bike across from Lambeau to the Don Hutson Center, like a block away. And even if they choose not to sign, it's just an incredible experience being that close to the athletes and seeing them that up close and personal and stuff. So since that started, we have been doing it now. I think this is our 5th or 6th year. My son usually picks out a couple cards he might want to have graded. And then I usually bring like just a mini autograph football that he tries to have as many people sign as he can. And those are kind of what you see up here. Some are Vikings, some are Packers, but that's what a lot of those signatures are for. At the camps, they also pass out these like fan heads of this year. We got, try to see Jordan Love, and then Xavier McKinney's kind of behind the pole here. I think that's Josh Meyer from a couple years ago. And I got a couple more in the back too, but So how it starts is, I mean, if you want to do the dream drive, which is an amazing experience, kids line up with their bikes. I think I saw somebody post this year that somebody was in line at like 4 a.m. and they were still the third person in line. It's like crazy. But practice usually starts at 10:30 for the last couple of years. Starts at 10:30. Usually goes anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. As they're biking across, usually we stand the first from Lambeau Field till you get to, I think it's Oneida Street that separates Lambeau Field and the Don Hudson Center. There's metal barricades that they bike through, but once they cross Oneida Street, they just have security officers trying to keep people back so they can keep going through. But some players do stop and sign if the kids are there. So that's kind of usually where we set up at the beginning of practice and see who we can get for signatures and things like that. We have brought bikes, we brought scooters to have them just because traveling with a family and everything. We brought our dog Marty this year along, and so we didn't have room for scooters. But if you're going to bike, I would get there at least 2 hours before and be in line by 8:30. And apparently the first couple days that would not have been enough time. But usually players start heading over by, let's see, 10:30. I usually like to be standing across the road by 9:30, usually anywhere 45 minutes to half hour. They start coming out and they trickle out a couple at a time and walking across the street. And then some will stop and security guards are telling them how much time they have on the clock or what time it is so they can prepare so they're ready for practice to start by 10:30. This year, I think Carter, on the way to practice, he really wanted Brandon Cisse, the cornerback that they drafted this year. So he got him autograph on a mini helmet, which was kind of cool. Hampton, he got autographed before. And then after they bike across, they actually can have the option to have their bikes ridden back after practice. I don't think as many players bike back after practice. A lot of them just walk. Some of them try and be sneaky about it too. They walk along the fence line and try and be incognito. But once one fan sees them and points them out and yells at them, then the mob just goes to it. But it's just such a cool experience. And here's the wonderful thing. A lot of it is kids. Like, I go to Vikings training camp and the adults have the binders of everything and everything. They wait in line and stand there all day, and kind of takes away from the kids aspect. Like, the ones really doing the autographs and the players are amazing, have never had any problems with. And the worst thing they do is say, sorry, not now, or I got to get to a meeting or something like that after practice. And like, totally understandable. So, I mean, that's the worst thing that happens is they just don't sign. They bike over, they get autographs. I have a slideshow that I've kind of put together of training camp that I'll share at the end of this video. That'll have everything that I've kind of talked about and wrap it up. Then they walk into the Don Hudson Center and practice begins. Usually practice, the first half hour is positional drills for the different positions. Offense wears one color, goes on one side of the field. Defense wears the opposite color, goes on the other side of the field. They do that for a while. And then about the last half hour of practice, 45 minutes, is the most fun to watch, is when they do offense versus defense, scrimmaging and scenarios and all of those things. So kind of at the beginning of practice, once practice starts, behind the Don Hudson Center, they have like all these different activities and things set up for the kids. My daughters won sunglasses. They got their arms painted that you'll see in the slideshow. They had a throwing target thing that you could register if you threw it in a target. And then a lot of times what we'll do, because one, I don't know how it always works out. It seems that like when we go to training camp, it's always one of the hottest days of the year, but I think it was like 88 degrees this year. So not terrible. We have been to training camp, Minnesota and Green Bay. It's been like 96 degrees and you're just sitting shoulder to shoulder, people watching practice. gets pretty miserable. But all in all, wouldn't trade the experience for anything. But we like to walk across, like, kind of cool. I think it's called D2 Sports Bar and Grill. They are like kitty corner from the Don Hudson Center. So if you actually sit outside, you can still get a glimpse of what's going on at practice or hear the players and whistles and things like that. Or I think down the road, there's Anduzzi's Sports Bar and Grill, where sometimes we just grab some water, a couple of snacks, appetizers, hold the kids over, and then go back and watch the offense versus defense scrimmage at the end. I do have to say some takeaways from training camp. Adrian Cooper, Zaire Franklin look really good at linebacker. Matthew Golden has been tearing it up under, like, he's got kind of like a Cobb-ish role to him, backfield, slot, like kind of moving them all around, but just like a faster version of Randall Cobb, I think. And then Christian Watson, just, I mean, if he can stay healthy, free. Lloyd did not practice. I was really hoping to see Lloyd running back. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and everything I've been reading and everything is true. Love looks good throwing the ball. Hopefully LaFleur will unleash him a little bit and let him kind of sling it a little more and put a little more faith in him and not run it so much. But all in all, Bullard, McKinney, the back of that defense looks pretty secure. Just hope we can get enough pressure on the quarterback and our corners can hold up long enough to keep our defense going. But all in all, I got to say, it looked pretty good, pretty impressive. Then at the end of practice, again, everybody's kind of set up shop for when the Packers come out and they try and get autographs. Again, they walk out of the Don Hudson Center, and it's kind of changed. A couple of years ago, they were at the big opening where gates were set up. This year, they came out like the side chain link fence little, and there was just like a line of people. And we went back to like by the Oneida Street where we stood and watch and just kind of let them get past the crowd of people and see if we can get an autograph right before they cross the street. Because once they cross the street, again, they're in the metal barricades where if they don't want to do anything, they don't have to, because there's no fan access to them. Sometimes they go all the way down right by Lambeau, and then they'll give the bike back or scooter, whatever they were riding, and sign for some fans that are camped out down around there. But I would say majority of them just kind of park the bike and head into Lambeau Field so they can shower and change and get to meetings. A lot of times what they will do after camp depends if they have meetings or not scheduled. If they don't have meetings right after, most of them will stick around and sign for a while. If they have meetings, they got to get going because they don't want to be late. And I think from what I heard talking to security guards is depending on how many years they've played in the NFL, depends how much they get fined if they're late for meetings. One kind of cool story. So Carter, he really wanted, Matthew Golden, most people want Matthew Golden, and he bought a card off eBay and he wanted this specific card signed. I think he got Javon Bullard on a card on the way into practice. Then Savion Williams was walking out of practice and he ran after him and got him signed on a card. While he was chasing after Savion Williams, Matthew Golden was walking on the side trying to be incognito with a big crowd of people following him and stuff. So it didn't really work that well. And I saw that, and they were walking like right towards us. And so I told my daughter, Mara, I was like, hey, if you want to make your brother's day, get this card signed by him right there and just say, will you please sign my card? So as he's walking towards us, Mara was standing right in front of him and was like, will you please sign my card? And he actually took it and signed the Matthew Golden card. And as they were walking, the crowd of people just kind of, and it's kids, so no harm. It's part of it, whatever. Mostly, if not majority, all boys. Kind of, she got pushed to the back of the thing, and I was kind of walking backwards, staying in front of them. And I just said, hey, that's my daughter's card and stuff, and got it back. So, but she basically made her brother's week, year, month, who knows? But just a cool thing again, like to see, but there's Packers training camp has something unique. The Dream Drive is amazing. What they do for kids, letting them ride their bikes back and forth to practice. Just being able to like be so close and personable to professional athletes, whether they want to stop and sign, keep going, whatever, but it's just a cool experience. 50 times better than Minnesota. The overall atmosphere, all the people are kind, nice, have not had any problems going there at all. One of the other really cool things we've done a couple years in the past is when they do the joint practice with another team. We did it when the Ravens and when Seattle came. We did those 2 joint practices, and those are really cool too. The visiting team has a chance or a choice if they want to ride bikes or not and do the Dream Drive on the other side of Lambeau. And the Ravens chose to do that. And Carter brought his scooter along, and he had someone from the Ravens ride their scooter to practice and training camp. And that is another really cool experience when you have another team in there. And that's really cool. That's much better than going to a preseason game at Lambeau, is going to the joint training camp, because then you see, like, it was really cool watching the one offense for the Ravens go against the one defense from the Packers and vice versa. And you don't see that in a preseason game. You only see that for the first couple minutes, and then you put the second, third string in who are trying to earn time. And it was really cool experience to see and be that up close, because normally when I go to a game at Lambeau, I'm not that close to the action and see that close. So that is another cool experience. But all in all, I just wanted to share our experience of training camp. I love it. I love the tradition. It was very busy being the second day of training camp. We've never gone that early, but with Labor Day being so late this year and school starting, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make the joint training camp this year, which Carter's pretty bummed about. But all in all, an amazing experience. I'm going to put a slideshow to our experience at the end of this video. If you have any questions about anything, I'd be more than happy to answer, as we've done this probably the last 6 years now or so, and help you as best I can. And I wish I would have started this sooner. That's my only thing. And I hope Carter continues to want to go and the family continues to want to go for many years to come. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Oh, there's LaFleur right there, standing at the clock. Oh, yeah.
Maybe with Dean.